With our first season over, we can now ask the board to supply us with some more scouts. While I'm here, I might as well ask for improved youth recruitment as well, with the aim to raise more transfer budget and fringe players like Valgent, who has 1 year left, can be moved on. I think at the end of each season too, we should look at how our new signings are developing. After all, with this being youth to go, it's important to track how a lot of our signings are doing and whether they can get into the first team or not. So starting from season 2, at the end of every season, we're going to do a development dive into all of these players. New budgets came in with £25 million in the transfer kitty. So with that in mind, I think we should try to make Viper a permanent sign-in and try and offer what he's actually valued with no add-ons. I'm also going through my current recruitment focuses and adding any player I like to my future prospect shortlist before deciding who else to sign. The board have agreed that we are lacking in the scouting department and have allowed us just one more scout. At least it wasn't a no, I guess, so I'll go out and hire another. New board culture excites me though, to sign players under 23 for the first team. 2 offers are coming in for Valgent, so I'm going to try and start a bidding war by upping one of them to see if they accept, which they did, and reject the other while offering him out for even more money. The board have also agreed to increase the youth recruitment network, happy days. And we managed to confirm Nelson Viper as a permanent transfer before we've even hit June. My target for that centre attacking midfield position though is Anthony Malambo at Feyenoord, whom my scouts rate very highly, so I'm going to try and negotiate a cheap price without feeling like we are overpaying, and instead for a cost that I know in years time we can create huge profit from. And we got the deal done, happy days. But we also start to sell players as well, and for next season I want to maybe start using wingers, so I'm looking at Prestiani as a target who my scouts recommend very highly, and he's a very reasonable price too. We are slowly getting rid of all of our 30+ despite them being our best players like Dada, who we sold for 15 million, and sent back Raylo, who is for a little bit less. Valgent might be staying as he just keeps rejecting clubs though. I need a couple of centre midfielders, and Dorgeles is perfect and is turning 20 in August, so I need to make a move quickly, so bringing him in now is sensible before I forget. Another really cheap talent in centre midfield is Fernando Neto at Salzburg, who I really like the look of too, and he's rather cheap, so I'm going to bring in both. There was not a lot of options for centre-back, so I went for the highest rated I could afford, and that's this Norwegian guy at Rosenborg called Håkon Rosten. Arguably, my best deal though was for Bayern's attacking midfielder Arjan Ibrahimovic for just 175k. That's a bargain. I had a job interview offer from Bilbao too, which was weird. Behind the scenes, I'm working on a couple of signings that I think you're really going to like, for a good price too. Another player over 30 left the club in Mascarell for 2.3 million. As well as Valgent, who finally left to Real Sociedad for 7 million. Meaning we were also quite short at centre-back. But my cheap nation recruitment focus came in clutch for strikers as we brought in 2 Serbians, with the first Popovic, who I'm looking to loan out straight away, as well as Alexic, who will challenge Viper for first team football. First game of the season is already here though, and it's Athletic Bilbao away. Which leads into me explaining what our tactic is. We're going for a 1 striker formation with a shadow striker. I think Malambo is fantastic, especially in that role with that 15 composure. I really like that. I just wish he had better off the ball, but I really like the shadow striker role this year. We're sticking with like a 3-man midfield, but I want to push Luis a little bit further forward because he is more of a natural centre mid. I think we can benefit more out of him, especially in that centre midfield on attack, because then it will fill that void there, and he'll sit in alongside Prestiani, who is going to be an inside forward on support. However, he is right-footed, so I am tempted to see what that's like as a winger, but other than that, it's very bog standard. The Volante on attack, on support, deep line playmaker, the usual back 4 with Lato given the license to go forward on attack duty because there's nobody in front of him. I think this might be a work in progress, but I'm excited to see how it plays out. And it was a very tight first half, with the deadlock being broken on the 71st minute, and Viper tapped in the rebound from Samu's shot. But we couldn't take all 3 points on this day, unfortunately, as Bilbao equalised just 2 minutes later. Brentford keep coming in for Sotacek, who we signed last season for pennies, and I'm happy just to accept the deal, which is up to 15.5 million. Nice bit of profit from the 1.5 million we spent on him last summer. In the second fixture, I was enjoying the combination of Prestiani and Malambo, although we did draw the game 2-2. But once again, in the following match, our football was a joy to watch, and a very good first half goal was deserved. Unfortunately though, luck wasn't on our side, as Almeria scored a deflected shot. However, our captain Sammy was there to find the winner to give us our first 3 points of the season. I haven't mentioned him much, but he is a quality player for us and just 23 years old. He scored 2 goals in the following match as well against Villarreal, although both were questionable from the goalkeeper. And that was another win for us though. 3-2 against a very good Villarreal side. Deadline day, my final target is 19-year-old German centre-back or right-back at Salzburg that my scouts rate very highly, and we get a deal accepted for £11.75 million up front. Morgala joins us as a very versatile defender, as mentioned, can play centre-back and right-back with a model citizen personality. That's perfect. He better be ready though, because we've got a tough couple of months coming up. Starting with a loss to Real Sociedad after a 91st minute penalty. Following that, we've seen great link-up play from Prestiani and Nelson Viper straight from the kickoff, and as Viper scores in the first minute of the match against Valencia. And it stayed that way too. Unfortunately, we couldn't take that into the Sevilla game, and now we host Real Madrid at home, who within 5 minutes tore us apart, playing through Rodrigo to open the scoring. However, we weathered the many waves of attacks and found Lato on the left, who found Malambo drifted into space for the equaliser. And in the 90th minute, Ibrahimovic dropped one high to the back post, and there was Capetti to nod in the winner. An unbelievable win, and that puts us 6th place currently after just 8 matches and cost Real Madrid their 100% record so far. And how do we follow that performance? Did we push on and win some more games? No, we lost all 3 of the following matches, including a 5-0 loss to Alaves. We finally got back to winning ways against newly promoted Espanyol, where Prestiani was exceptional, assisting the first and scoring the second. However, man of the match was left back Tony Lato, who assisted the last 2 goals. He even scored in the next game after stabbing home the second of 3 goals against Sporting, but we couldn't win through in the bounce as Atletico kept us to a 1-0 loss. December was a weird month as we lost at home to Celta Vigo from 2 late goals and then drew 0-0 to Las Palmas, before beating Granada 4-0 at home. And then we travelled to Valencia to beat Levante 3-0 with a cracking goal from a young Serbian striker. We then won 7-1 in the first round of the Copa del Rey as we turn into the new year of 2025. We currently sit 9th place in La Liga. It's probably a good point now to have a look again at our scouting system, etc., because I have changed a little bit. We've got £8 million in our budget, so we can probably sign a couple of players should we want to. 20 recommendations just in the European one alone. The South America's got 19. This is the one I've added now. Portugal, Spain, and Italy, just 3 really good nations with one of the new scouts that I have brought in. But we're still picking up loads from the other ones. 15 recommendations there. 7 from the Spain just alone. The cheap nations, another 2. This guy here, 3-star current ability, 4-star potential. If I wanted a centre midfielder to bring in, that could be a really good one because, again, he's quite cheap. UK one tends to bring out some expensive ones. I'll probably avoid signing a lot of players from there. Best Nations has got one there. Leo Sauer and Africa. Very rare that you find one, but when you do, 9 times out of 10 it's worth a pickup because for 800k, yes, he's only got 2 strength and 2 jump and reach, but I could probably make a profit out of him. 2 new signings came through early doors, with the first being Dardé, a German midfielder from Hertha Berlin, just 18 years old, and then Edu Sanchez from Barcelona, a very talented left back for just 350k. January didn't start well on the pitch though, 2 losses. Honestly, I don't know what's happened from our December form because unlike last year, we've kept all of our players in January and we've just loaned a couple of players out, and yet teams are absolutely stuffing us. On deadline day, we had a bid from Saudi Arabia for Samu, who I really don't want to lose, so I rejected it. But I did loan a lot of squad players out this month to gain first team football. January's over, but the losses kept coming. Thought we had a win in the bag at home to Sociedad. That was until they scored an equaliser in the 92nd minute. Then we travelled to Valencia, where we were gifted the most hilarious goal to kick things off. Couldn't prevent a goal at the other end though, and another clean sheet was gone for a 1-1 draw. Losing to Sevilla in the next match before we travelled to the Bernabeu. And it only took 7 minutes before Real Madrid broke us down and Vinicius opened the scoring. But instead of bowing down and accepting defeat, we remembered we beat them last time. We hit them on the break as Sanchez smashes in a volley. An attack down the left is then pulled back to Luis and then to Morlanes, and we are ahead. Surely we can't beat Real Madrid both times this season. Well, Morgana got caught on the ball, and that mistake leads to Valverde making it 2-2. However, fantastic play leaves Luis in space, whose shot comes back off the post and Malambo taps it in, and it's 3-2. We've just beat Real Madrid both times this season. We've also lost to Barcelona both times right after though. But with a good run of games, now towards the end of the season, can we make a late push into those European spots? And yes, we are Real Madrid's only 2 losses this season. I am a genius manager.
Like the LeBron James of soccer?
Definitely.
We started strong after the Barcelona match by beating Alaves 1-0, but then we lost to Girona despite equalising when we were down to 10 men, and we actually lost that to a 97th minute goal as well. But thankfully we went back to winning ways and performing really well, with both Viper and Sanchez picking up goals against Espanyol. Darday scored 2 goals in an away game to Sporting. This was a pretty scrappy one, but the second was even worse, as he scored off the back of someone else's wayward shot, smacking him straight on the stars. We won that game 4-2 with Prestiani and Viper also scoring, but the rest of the month included a 1-1 draw with Atletico Madrid after a late equaliser, and a loss to Celta Vigo, meaning we only creep into 9th place with 4 games remaining. But that's when we really turned things up for a European push. First with a win against Las Palmas at home, thanks to goals from Prestiani and Malambo, followed by an away 3-0 win to Granada, and another 3-0 win at home to Levante, with Prestiani scoring yet another goal. So with our last game of the season being away to Real Betis, we have 1 game and an outside chance of finishing 7th place, which is a European spot. Small chance, but still. And it was another defensive mistake, and Real Betis take the lead. However, it was that man Prestiani who once again scores to pull us level before half-time. And in the second half, Samu, despite rumours of leaving, scores the winner for us in one of the hardest grounds to travel to. So a fantastic run of 4 wins at the end of the season, but it wasn't quite enough, and we miss out by a couple of points, finishing 9th once again. But let's take a look at the development of our young squad. Yes, it wouldn't be youth to gold if we didn't dive into the development of players. And starting off with a 9.7 training rating, Rafael Luiz, who looks absolutely exceptional. There's a reason why I made this man one of my number 1 targets in season number 1. He's already wanted Southampton by a transfer. They're going to have to pay a lot more money than that. I don't want to let this guy go. He's only 20. We bought him for £6.75 million. That looks like a steal. He's had a great season for us, and he keeps progressing really, really well. A lot of 15s in there now. Natural fitness is 17. Strength of 15. I'm buzzing with him. Nelson Viper. A lot of pressure on his shoulders. Not necessarily done that well in actual games, but he is progressing. His attributes are getting better. We can see Bravery's come back up. He had a big injury halfway through the season where he tore his quad, I think. He's got better. I'm also training to likes to beat the offside trap because he has good pace and good off-the-ball ability. That will really help his game if he manages to learn how to do that. Prestiani, he's got a very good core to him. He has developed really well considering where we bought him. But on the pitch, he's arguably been our best player out of the ones that we've looked at recently. Definitely been performing, especially at this back end of the season. Malambo, I don't know with Malambo whether it was a good decision to bring him in or not. He's had a good training rating for this season. I don't think he has developed as much as what I hoped he would after 1 season. He's 20 years of age now. I'd like to have seen a little bit of a better player. I think there's a reason why nobody wants him. Rostom was more of a squad player, but he's actually developed quite well. I mean, how many games is he actually? 26 games. He started 12 of them, so he's done quite well. That's not too bad. Let's have a look at Alex Alexic, who was one of the Serbian strikers that I signed. Was a risk because he has really low natural fitness. I think I bought this player in the looking towards maybe being a bit more of a backup, but also so I can flip for more money. You can see he's worth a lot more than what we paid for him. £1.6 million. He only scored 1 goal out of 20 appearances, 8 from starting position, so not great. Sert Demir, that's worrying if you ask me. I'm not too pleased with that. He has a balanced personality. I'm wondering whether he is not very professional because that is quite worrying, and I think we might make a loss on him. £2.3 million. And we might be able to sell him actually because he is wanted by Brighton. We might try and flip him and see if we can make some money back. Morgala, there's a lot of great players that we have brought in recently. Morgala has made mistakes that you've seen, but I think he's been solid for us. 20 years of age, he can play in 2 different positions. His development's been quite good, and he's got a good average rating for where we are in the league, 6.89. We've relied on him a lot. 33 appearances, 1 goal, 2 assists. I'm more than happy with Morgala. I really like what he's brought to the table. Outside of the first team, we've got a few players who are first team candidates in the development centre now. The guys that we signed on a free at the end of last season, they're turning 18 or 19 now and could be pushing for a first team spot next season. 19-year-old goalkeeper in Wolsey, I'm unsure with. I need to speak to you about the goalkeeper situation though. And DeBale looks okay, maybe nothing too special. Now the goalkeeper situation, As I mentioned, Youth to Gold, usually you don't play any players once they're past 30. We couldn't avoid that. We had too many players who are above 30 or above. We only have one left now who would be 30 during this season. That's the goalkeeper Rajkovic. Now, he is injured for a little bit, but not too long. He will turn 30 in October, on Halloween. That's going to be our only player next season who will be 30 or over. So, if we do look to sell him, which he is wanted, and we bring in a new goalkeeper, then we will be completely clean for Youth to Gold for the next 2 seasons. And I like that a lot.